It is Thursday, the 7th of May. The rush hour is on. It's time to get you up to speed on the day's top stories. And up first, multiple California residents on the cruise ship smack dab in the middle of a Hanta virus outbreak, where 3 people died. Health officials working to contain this spread, saying the risk of catching the virus is low. What we are learning tonight. A massive drug raid at LA's MacArthur Park. 18 suspects now in custody. Local residents and business owners sounding the alarm over safety concerns, pushing for change. Fireworks flying at dueling debates for California governor and LA mayor. Did anyone break out of the crowded pack? Plus, they dropped game 1, but the Lakers get another chance tonight. The purple and gold taking on the top-seeded defending champion Thunder. Can the biggest underdogs ever flip the script and come home with the W? It is all ahead. The rush hour starts right now. Good evening, everyone. I'm Giselle Fernandez. Great to have you with us. Our top story this Thursday night. Public health officials across 4 continents and right here in California scrambling to get ahead of the Hanta virus outbreak aboard a cruise ship. 3 people dead, others potentially exposed, including multiple California residents who were on board. Dozens of passengers evacuated, but over 100 others are now headed to the Canary Islands. Contact tracing underway at this hour, trying to contain the spread. Doctors also working around the clock to squash fears that another pandemic is on the way. Renee Eng is live now in studio to give us an update on what is happening out there. Good evening.
Good evening, Giselle. So the reason these pandemic fears are rising is because dozens of passengers, they've disembarked the so-called Hanta virus cruise ship, and they are now heading home. Here's a problem. They left without the ship's medical team confirming whether they came in contact with any of the infected passengers. And the World Health Organization says 5 confirmed infections have been identified among people connected to the cruise ship that is called MV Hondius. Now, in 7 different countries, passengers are receiving treatment, self-isolating, or they're under the watchful eye of local public health departments. And you'll notice the U.S. is on this list. 4 states are currently monitoring passengers. That's Arizona, Georgia, Texas, and right here in California. And the California Department of Public Health issued this statement. The department says it has been notified by the CDC of California residents that were on board the cruise ship that had passengers infected with hantavirus. We are coordinating with local health officials as needed to monitor returning travelers. There's no information that the California residents are ill or infected, and at this time, the risk to public health in California is low. And again, the WHO has confirmed 5 infections, but it is also tracking 3 other suspected hantavirus cases. Now, this is where contact tracing becomes so important because health officials, they want to know who the infected parties came in contact with to prevent further outbreak. And today, the WHO also addressed concerns that the hantavirus could be the next COVID. Take a listen.
I want to be unequivocal here. This is not SARS-CoV-2. This is not the start of a COVID pandemic. This is an outbreak that we see on a ship. There's a confined area. We have 5 confirmed cases so far.
And something to note, 30 passengers disembarked on the island of St. Helena before the outbreak was confirmed. Now, that vessel has now left the coast of West Africa and is headed north to the Canary Islands, and that's where it's expected to anchor and evacuate the remaining passengers sometime on Saturday.
So I understand this has an unusual transmission method. How do you get it?
So the CDC says this virus really does, it's very unusual in terms of how it spreads. It's usually when people inhale particles from rodent urine or feces. But the WHO says some human-to-human transmission could have played a part in these recent cases. So, for example, back in 2018, 2019, Argentina experienced an outbreak. 3 people came into contact with infected rodents. They contracted and spread the hantavirus to 34 other people. 11 died, and you might also remember actor Gene Hackman and his wife Betsy were found dead from the virus. And something to note here also, cruise ships, they're gaining a reputation for breeding viral outbreaks. And here's some numbers from the port of LA. Last year, 241 cruise ships passed through the port, carrying about 1.6 million passengers. And that is a big increase from 2024. That's when there were 183 ships with 1.1 million travelers. So there's definitely a lot of people using this method of travel.
Oh, for sure. All right, I know you're going to stay on top of this for us. Thank you so much, Renee Eng, reporting. All right, here's a look at the other top stories you need to know right now. The U.S. and Iran trading fire again this evening in the Strait of Hormuz. Despite the White House saying the ceasefire remains in place, the Pentagon says it thwarted Iranian attacks on 3 naval vessels that are a part of the U.S. blockade. This happening as Iran weighs President Trump's latest peace proposal. Meanwhile, a new CIA report reveals the U.S. pressure campaign in the Strait may not be as effective as the White House thinks. It found that Iran can endure the Strait's closure for up to 4 months without experiencing any severe economic damage. Secretary of State Marco Rubio is meeting with Pope Leo XIV as tensions grow between the White House and the Vatican. The nation's top diplomat arrived in Rome early this morning. The pontiff blasting claims from President Trump that the Catholic Church supports nuclear weapons. This after Trump said the Pope's calls for peace were putting the lives of Catholics in danger. The Trump administration is redirecting $2 billion in funding for global health programs to cover costs of closing the U.S. Agency for International Development, or USAID. The funds currently go toward health programs for maternal and child health, global health security, and nutrition. The White House plans to use the money to pay legal costs related to the shutdown. The agency was dismantled last year. Health policy experts warn the diversion of funds could lead to tens of thousands of preventable deaths. And we are working on several other developing stories for you this Thursday night, including a massive drug bust in MacArthur Park. Jas Kang joins us now live with a preview of what's ahead. Good evening, Jas.
Yeah, good evening, Giselle. 18 people were arrested for their role in an alleged federal drug distribution ring, and that makes some of the people who want to see MacArthur Park be safer happy, but one business owner who's been here for nearly 80 years says that's not enough. I'll have that story coming up when the rush hour rolls on.